First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista. Hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
All right, we're going to start with the Super Bowl because I think you guys have some stuff to rub in, right?
Rub in. Oh, yes.
Not at all.
Carol, who did you pick?
I picked the Eagles.
I know I picked the Eagles. And Grady, who did you pick?
No, I did not pick the Eagles.
Okay, so I think that's...
So I'm the loser here, and I get it.
That's all I wanted you to say. Okay, we can move on. Thank you. Yeah.
I know that's what you wanted.
To all the Eagles fans out there, they're excited. If you're a Kansas City fan, don't get mad at Carol and I. We had a 50-50 chance.
That's right. And I said by like a touchdown or by 3, but so much more.
It was so close, right?
All I can say is I'm waiting for my Diet Coke, my carbonated beverage there.
Is that what you need?
That's
Done.
the bet. Carol?
Yeah, that's right.
She gets one, too. I mean, so not gambling in the studio, but we are taking our prize.
You got it. I will make sure that happens. Well, let's turn to some other sports, and let's go local with the girls' soccer team at Buena.
Got to give them a shout-out. Yeah, you know, that's our hometown. We got to give them a shout-out in the fact that they're number 2. They're ranked number 2 in the state. They made the playoff. They're going to play next week, the 18th at 6 p.m. for a home game at Buena High School against Verrado. Now, that team Verrado's a high school out of the Buckeye area. That's who knocked Buena out of football in the playoffs. So a little revenge by the girls for the boys here, but kudos to the Buena varsity soccer team, number 2 in the state. I think they're going to go pretty deep this year. I really do. They got the talent, they got the depth, and they got some youth on that team when it comes to youngness. So come out and watch them, support them. That's our hometown team for the girls.
And boys basketball won last night, too.
Yeah, they're on a roll right now. And I guess there's a lot of spirit behind that game. And something that happened last night, but that's not what this show's all about. But either way, Buena won last night. Then their basketball. Buena always does well. Let's see how they do when they get into the playoffs, when they start hitting the Phoenix teams. Phoenix just has I don't know what it is. I don't care if it's football, wrestling, basketball. But again, Buena's got a pretty good program over there for basketball. Let's see how far they can go to. So kudos to them. And glad nobody was hurt last night.
And we're starting off the show with all the kids today. So how did the spelling bee go last Saturday?
You know, it was a nice crowd that came out for the Cochise County Spelling Bee. I want to give a shout-out to your Cochise County School Superintendent, Jackie Clay, and Cynthia and all her staff that puts that together. Again, it was just a cool event. There was 19 contestants, and this is no different than basketball, wrestling. They have to compete. They have to practice to make it good. And, Carol, we had the 3 top winners. And I got to say this, girl power. Once again, it was top 3 are girls. And, Carol, who was our winners?
Kendra Hamburger was number 1, and she's from Pierce. Small school, really good school, though.
Yeah, and she did so well. She got up there. I was one of the judges. She got up there, and some of the words, I mean, like you said, restaurant's a hard word. I won't ask you to spell it, Grady.
Thank you.
I want to so bad, though. And but she got there, and they get their little hand. They write on their little hands, like they're writing it out and stuff. But they're just so well tuned they're so prepared, and she did amazing. So Pierce School, kudos to them.
Evangeline Marino from Colonel Smith Middle School in Fort Huachuca.
Kudos to her.
She got 2nd place, and Layla Mott from Village Meadows Elementary School.
And actually, the girl from Colonel Smith, I mean, she was so steadfast the whole way through. They got her at the end. It's like any competition. It's a little exciting and stuff. So kudos to all of them. There was 19 contestants. Kudos, they're all winners. And I had one student that he went out the 2nd or 3rd round, and his parents were sitting behind me where I was judging, and he came back and he said, "I'm a loser," and I wanted to stop the whole thing. Stop, everybody! You're a winner. You're not a loser. You're here. There's thousands of kids in Cochise County, and he took the bravery and the courage to get up there and do this. So if you're hearing me this morning, you're a winner, kid.
Well, one thing people want to know about what we're doing is across the county, there's been some criminal damage that's been happening with mailboxes, tires, and windows.
Yeah, law enforcement all around Cochise County is being affected, from slashing tires in Bisbee, from damage here in Sierra Vista, from how many mailboxes do we have? 19?
We had at least 20 yesterday, and I'm sure that there's going to be more.
So, I mean, this is a collective effort. So the police chiefs, myself, I'm going to grab them guys today, and we're going to have a little talk. And but if you know something about this is not a joke. It's truly not a joke. When people have to use their car for medical reasons or you name it, I think there's like 50 cars out of Bisbee that's been slashed, and some are multiple times.
That's
not
right.
even once. And so again, it's not funny. It's truly not funny. So when we get these individuals, we in law enforcement, and we will. So if you're listening to this going to school, or if you're hearing this on the radio, we're coming. I'll just tell you right now, we're coming. So, but if you know something, see something, call us. Let's be vigilant out there, especially with what's going on. It's not just specific to one area, which makes it a little more of a challenge for us, but that's our right. It tells me these criminals are mobile. But call us, let us know. Call a tip line, call your local law enforcement, and let's see if we can get these guys or gals rounded up.
And when we're talking about the mailboxes, what they may or may not understand, a couple of different things in that dynamic. You now get the federal government involved because you're talking about U.S. mail. And so that's a problem. So you want to make sure that you understand that those are serious charges. And then now you have people who are thinking of a multitude of ways to protect their mailboxes, up to including pouring concrete in them, so if somebody tries to take baseball bat when they're driving by, they're going to break their arm. I mean, do you see how that this is going to escalate?
Oh, it does escalate, and at the end of the day, there's no winners. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's illegal. Criminal damage is a serious crime, and based on the amount of damage and where they're up to, we're talking serious felonies now. I mean, this is no longer a joke. This ain't a prank. This is a serious crime. So if you know something, give law enforcement a call.
Well, one thing we want to talk about today is the birthday of Arizona, coinciding with Valentine's Day.
Happy birthday, Arizona. I mean, what, 113 years?
113 years.
113 years. That's an
We
oldie.
made it.
Yeah, we look good. We're still healthy.
That's right.
Yeah, still healthy, you know. But also, it's Valentine's Day. So all you guys, and I'm speaking to the guys now, the girls are all over this. But for the guys, you know, if you forgot, which most do, I do, and they're going, why does the sheriff say that? I didn't forget. Well, you're one of the winners then. You're one of the better ones. But, yeah, like give your loved ones a hug today and give them something special.
And we want to give shout-outs, too, to people like Tammy Jo from CCOM. You know, she's going to be here later on as a guest, and she does an amazing job at managing that center. It's, you know, grown leaps and bounds from when it first started, and even from, you know, just the most recent challenges a couple years ago. So bringing it back to where it needs to be, or what the vision was initially. And yesterday they approved a 5-year contract, which hasn't been done before because it's in its infancy. But congratulations, Tammy Jo, great job.
She has. She's truly brought her leadership, her personality into that center, and has built it. I mean, let's face it. I mean, she's taken something that's been challenging. Let's be honest, and built now a stability for public safety. It's the backbone for all law enforcement, fire, EMS, to have a center like that, which was our vision. That was truly our vision, 7 years ago now? And she's made something special out of that. So, Tammy Jo, thank you for your leadership. Thanks for all you do for the community. I know she'll be on the show later today. So when you're talking to her, think about it. Yeah, she's the magic behind that center.
And a law enforcement legacy that you want to give a shout out to, Jim Adams.
Jim Adams, 35 years. I believe it was 35 years with Jim. Retired from Sierra Vista Police Department. He was lieutenant over there, and I worked the streets with him back in the days when we both, you can say hair, but he still has hair. Lucky guy. But one of the best investigators I've ever worked with. Truly one of the best investigators. And but I worked up through the ranks, and that's a problem with us. We grow up and move up, and sometimes that's scary. But retired from them, and then I went over to been the marshal for the last 4 years. He's been over there, and now it's time to move on from there. So he's earned that. So Jim, congratulations to a law enforcement career. He's not going away. I just want to make sure I preface that. And but again, he's going to move on to a different endeavor. So just want to give him a quick shout out. He was the marshal of Tombstone.
And congratulations to the new Tucson Border Patrol Sector Chief,
Sean McGoffin. And Sean's a cop's cop. He'll be in the county today. I'm going to be meeting with him this morning. Just I've met him before. We've done some programs before. He came out of Yuma and many other places, but that's where I met him, over in the Yuma, California area, doing border initiatives. And so, just a good guy. Sean's just a good guy. So coming down today to kind of go over some op things, some discussions we're doing with everything going on in this border, some of the revamping and operational control they're putting on it now that we hadn't seen. So we want to go over and make sure we're all thinking and looking the same way. So kudos to Sean.
And we do have the military coming down to the border. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, that's an ebb and flow process. Kudos to our military. I just have so much respect for our military. And Chief Heiser and I both from Service to PD and our chiefs talked this week. And we're just excited to have them. This is going to be pretty impressive what's going to happen here, and I can't go into a lot of detail because it's not my program, and I won't step on that. But I had a call last night talking to them, and it's exciting what they're doing. That it's going to be an engaging partnership with local law enforcement, and the fact that we're in this together. We are, and I've heard the comment. There's a comment out of the New York Times, and I'm just going to say this, not in a ill way, but the reporter that did that, we worked with her, America's Sheriffs, sat down with her probably 4 times, spent time on stories, and she'd never print them. Never print them over the last 4 years. Now the story comes out, and I didn't get to read the whole thing because it blocked me. But people are sending it to me. More or less that we're being forced to do this. I would disagree with that. You know, sheriffs got autonomy. They can do a lot of things. They can't do everything, but they have a lot of autonomy to make decisions. But I can speak here in Cochise County that what we're doing here on the border is to engage our federal partners. It's their border. We're supplemental to them until it hits our community, but then it becomes primary for both. But long story short is we have to work together. If we're going to look at worst of the worst, your predators, your murderers, your rapists, all these people are violent offenders. We want to work together to make sure that we identify them people, detain these people, and let's get them out of here.
And so one of the other things that is going on when we're working collectively with people, yesterday there were several search warrants served in the Sierra Vista area, multi-agency. Our regional SWAT team was assisting the Department of Public Safety, and the SWAT team consists of the Sheriff's Office, Sierra Vista Police Department, and Benson Police Department.
Right, and they're pushing like 30 members, and this is a force multiplier. You know, it's whether it's Sierra Vista Police Department, whether it's DPS, whether it's Sheriff's Office, or any federal agency, we really need to support each other, and I'm a big believer in regionalization, whether it's narcotics, whether it's SWAT, whether it's communication, border ops, and that, or in criminal investigations on our critical incident response team. It's transparency at its best, too, because you have multi-agencies working one common goal or mission, and so it's big. Yesterday they had several search warrants, tactical search warrants, which means SWAT's involved, and led by the Sierra Vista Police Department, the Cochise County Sheriff's Office. Benson PD's got supplemental staffing in there. I think they're bringing another one on. But it was just good, and our phones were ringing up to hook. I got calls from the media. Sheriff, tell what's going on. Well, it's a local thing. People, first of all, thought it was, you know, the feds raiding everything and stuff, and that's not what it was. It's local interdiction, going after bad people doing bad things in our community that we have warrants for, and so I'm not going to speak on another agency's warrant, but bottom line is this, it's good to see that. It's nice to see us all working so well, because at the end of the day, we're working for you.
And this Tuesday you met with the Board of Supervisors.
We did. That was the first meeting I've had with the new board. And I want to give a shout out to Frank and Kathleen, the two newly elected. It was very well respected on both ends, between the Sheriff's Office, a lot of it's jail. You know, jail's a hot topic, you know. Everybody's making money off us as we go back and forth on this. But the reality at the end of the day is we got to find common ground. And Frank, Kathleen, and I and my team all felt, and staff, we had a lot of common ground, no doubt about it. How we get there, that's something, a lot of it depends on the courts. We'll talk about that in a minute. But one member, once again, showed no basis to look for common ground. And I'm going to say this, and I'll continue to say it. I've done this 41 years, my 41st year. I just look really young. It's weird. But my job is to advocate, like a police chief, sheriff, or anybody that runs an organization, is to advocate for their men and women. You advocate and you hold them accountable when they're wrong, and that's a tough thing to do, but we do it every day. But the other thing about it is we support them when they're being attacked. In this case, they were being attacked. I was being attacked. The bottom line is I will always stick up for my men and women. And if people want to criticize that, sorry, I'm not going to change.
And the jail district was the second part, or one of those meetings that was attended. So do we have updates on what's going on with the jail district and some of the clarifications, I think, was the really, really important takeaway from that particular meeting?
Well, you look at, this inactive voter is where this is really getting tripped up. And that's the allegation. So they're saying 10, 11,000, whatever it is, inactive voters should have received a ballot. Special district. You look at what the city of Tucson's doing right now. I think it's Tucson or Pima. I think it's Tucson, where they got that special election coming out. That's only for active voters. It's well stated. It's not like, and I've never read an election law, but everybody tells me it's well stated in there. I'm not an election cop, so people say, why don't you know this, Sheriff? I just got asked that the other day, Sheriff, why did you set the election up? What about this election? Listen, I didn't get elected to be an election cop. It's not my thing. But so I don't know what the election's all about. I've been told by people that do it that, yes, only for active voters, people that are in the system, because you don't know, did they move? Did they pass away? Or they decide, I'm not involved in politics or whatever. That's their rights. But so that's where it's at. So after the vote passed on a special election, it got contested by some citizens, went to Superior Court here. The judge said it's a great election, no issue. They appealed to appellate court with about 8 other issues. The appellate court said the only thing they wanted to discuss was the inactive voter. Everything else was fine. And said, now you all go decide what you're going to do with that. The old Board of Supervisors sent it to the Supreme Court instead of taking it back down. Not my decision. Okay. Supreme Court's like, no, we're not going to hear this. You know, we don't want to hear any of this stuff. We don't want to hear from the sheriff. We don't want to hear anything. What we want to hear from is take it back down to Superior Court. You all settle it on the inactive voters. That's actually positive. We don't. Everybody's like, oh, the sheriff's probably mad. The sheriff's not mad. The sheriff's not mad. It's due process, number one. I respect that. But number two is it needs to be heard. I'm very confident we're going to be in good shape. I'm very confident we're going to be in good shape because it's well defined. So we'll see. They're going to bring an outside judge in from what I've heard, whether that's true or not. Again, that's not my decision either. But the bottom line, they'll have a judge come in. He'll hear that. It was an issue with the inactive voters. And whatever happens, though, will not just impact Cochise County, the whole state. Look at Pima County. That's my example I'm using right now. Or city of Tucson, where they're trying to get that public safety, some kind of public safety sales tax passed. That's only going to active voters. So, again, but that's let me just say this. I heard this out of Maricopa County the other day. So, you know, Republicans especially, I hate to get political here, but Republicans are all about election integrity. We all are about, Democrats all about election integrity. But that's one loud voice that you hear from a lot of Republicans. Well, think about this. If you're going to send 11,000 plus or minus ballots to inactive voters, where are they going? Wouldn't you think that'd be just the opposite? I know Maricopa's really stand up on that. Hey, that doesn't really sound right. And it doesn't. And this is stuff I've heard, so I'm just repeating it. You ask, so I'm repeating it. But we have to have election integrity. I'm 100% behind that. But let's do it to make sure we're smart about it. Send 11,000 voters to the wind for people that couldn't even be there. Where's that ballot going? And then it comes back. Who voted? So, again, I feel confident with it. We'll see where it goes. No matter what happens, I respect the rule of law.
And one of the things that was clarified was the Justice Center. And I think it was really important that we had representatives from the contracting company, the consulting company. And if people say, oh, you know, there's just getting all of this money to build the Taj Mahal, not true. It's just you want to make sure that you don't have a situation where you design a product and by the time you get to it, you've already outgrown it. You have to design a product with a vision in mind, how you can move forward, and that's not where the half-cent sales tax is going. It's just part of the overall vision for the project.
You know, and that's why there's feasibility studies out right now. Nobody has sat on the golden egg, if you want to call it such, and abused that. Right now, we've had meetings after meetings. We've hired experts, and this is a collective effort. My job is to operate and manage a jail. The board is the business side of the county, but together we have to find common ground on that. So right now there's feasibility studies out to see where's the best location, what size jail do we build, and what's the additional personnel it's going to cost to run it. You can't build a jail for current times. I mean, that'd be a default on our end. We have to build it for the future. The thing needs to last us 25 plus years. So that's why you do those feasibility studies. Are they costly? Yeah, they're costly. But at the end of the day, the return is you did it right, and that's what this is all about. One of the former presiding Superior Court judges, not the current one, not Judge Thorne, had asked that we build courts with it. Well, even some of the people started talking about they had this justice center. I even corrected the project director and said, you got to quit saying that. The money only can build a jail. It can build and operate jails. Our jail district, that's what it does. Like a library district, a water district. It runs your water, it runs your library, this runs our jail. But you can't go out and start building courts, and you can't come out, other things that are unrelated to a jail. And so even though there's a relationship with a court, it's a great idea. The bottom line, you can't use those funds. It was brought up during the discussion, the prelim discussions, that it's a good idea, but the county has to come up with the general funds to do that. It will not come out of the jail district. It's never discussed in a way that would be the plan. And so when people are saying that, again, that's just that false narrative out there that's not true.
And then the final product was the half-cent sales tax. The sales tax is spread through anybody who purchases anything in Cochise County versus a property tax increase. So the way you want to do this is the half-cent sales tax.
10 out of 15 sheriffs have it. I've talked to those sheriffs. It's the way to do business. It is. A truck driver stops at Love's Truck Stop in Benson or up in Wilcox and buys a T-shirt. Thank you. And I got to say this one. I think this is kind of people remember this story or this thought. My jail commander says this all the time. When the smuggler drivers from all the United States come here, which we've been flooded with over the last 3 years, and they fuel up and then they get a Hostess product, they're paying for their own jail space. Truly, they are. So, again, it's an all-user, and it's an efficient way of doing it. And this is what the experts told me, too. And then somebody made a comment, well, the sheriff made these numbers up. No, this was told to me by people that are a lot smarter than I am. And I'm learning as much as the public was when we were putting this process together, because my lane is only one lane. There's many on this project. That it's $40 to $67 per year per citizen to have a new jail. $40 to $67 a year. Now, I get some people, that's a lot of money. It is. To me, it's a lot of money. I'm a cop. But at the end of the day, it's efficient compared to doing a property tax, which goes over 30%, and only 41% or 42% of the people own property in Cochise County. So they absorb that 100% expense. So it just makes so much sense. Beyond anything beyond that, besides we've secured $20 million from the state, we're still looking for some additional money from the state based on some of the things that we're working on with our state partners. At the end of the day, I mean, or somebody walking up and say, here's $100 million to build your jail, Sheriff. I don't know what else I can do. I mean, I've offset $20 million. We got an efficient way of doing it. Looking for additional money right now. At the end of the day, one way or another, we have to get jail. I think everybody has common ground on that one. Even the biggest critics have common ground on that. But I'm just looking for solutions. Find a better solution. I'm all about that.
And the final thing was, why does it have to go 25 years? Why is this half-cent sales tax 25 years versus, a 7-year bond or 9 years? And what needs to be understood is you can't just build something and walk away. You have maintenance. You have ongoing costs to personnel. You have all of the things surrounding that. So you need to make sure that it's funded into the future so that you don't have to make cuts as soon as you get to where you need to be.
Well, and I've said this before, is this change, it's all about sustainment. You hit it on the head. You can't build this brand new complex. Everybody says, oh, it's brand new, won't have problems. You build a brand new house, you're going to have problems. I mean, it's just a fact of life. But your additional costs, your mental health, your personnel detention officers, all this is going to cost. We're not going to build. The building that we have now was built for 162 people. I'm estimating, and just an opinion, don't beat me up later, but it'll probably be around 450. And let's see where this all 400 to 450. Well, our jail was double bunked, 20 years ago, Carol, for 300. So you can see we put Band-Aids on a facility that was built for 162. So this one's going to be a lot larger complex that will carry us into the future for all the right reasons. And my thought is, and this is, nobody can kill it because the will of the people put it together, but you can lower it to meet the operational needs. And that's what I think what my suggestion would be. And if it comes to it, you can actually zero it out. So there's ways around that, but you don't take away a funding line that the people put in place to do this unless you can properly, adequately fund it. And that's just common sense. And so we'll see where this all goes. There's going to be a lot of discussions with our board members, and we'll see if we go forward on this. And I feel very confident we're going to get down the road. And we've had some bumps, we've had some hurdles, we've had people pushing each other off cliffs. But at the end of the day, we just need to be working together and climbing together.
And the feasibility studies are very important, and the listeners may not know things like, the new port of entry is going to affect how this is maybe built.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, we're not going to go backwards. Everybody says, well, the population is stagnant. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't agree with the last census, but that's my opinion. It's not a fact. And I think we have more people here than we ever have. I mean, just drive down 92, and that doesn't tell you something. But either way, it is what it is. But I foresee Cochise County continue to grow. It's a beautiful place, a special place. It's got the military. That's just we never can forget the contribution our military brings to us here. But at the end of the day, we need to build it to the future. That's going to last 25 years. I don't want to build something and then 5 years later there's a problem and they say, look at Sheriff, I told him. You just know how, I mean, social media is a beautiful thing, but it's also the worst thing if you look at it that way.
Well, last Saturday you were in Benson for the Sportsmen for Vets. Tell us about that meeting.
So I got a call a couple weeks ago, invited me up to this event, and I get there, and I didn't get there till about right before the program started. There's 200 to 300 people at this event up at the Red Barn, and Devin Finn put this together, and along with a whole bunch of leaders there from the Benson community, and these are all sportsmen people, hunters, fishermen, and they go out and they raise funds, and they help kids. They help veterans. I mean, some of the stories I was listening to, I sat through this program. It's a beautiful event, and I just got to say, it was neat to see this. It was nice to see this, and rewarding that we're taking care of our veterans for all the right reasons. So, thank you to the community of Benson. I sat with the mayor up there, and the new city manager, which is former police chief Greg Volker. He told me, he's permanent city manager. So, Greg, kudos to you on that too. He was a great chief. We're going to miss him as chief, though.
And so we also have something coming up for Monday. It's President's Day. People may or may not be off. If you have to work, sorry. But you are going to be in Phoenix talking about something really important for Cochise College.
Yeah, so kudos to Dr. Perry, the new president of Cochise College. So Chief Heiser and I are going to be heading up there with him to speak to congressional at a hearing for helping fund rural community colleges for innovation. It's really where it's at is, we always think of our ASU, and then the other
U of A. That's what
that's
we think
the other
about.
one.
Yeah.
I just slipped my mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, slipped my mind. But all the universities, it seems like that's the money drop when it comes to education. But our rural community colleges are so vital to every community that has one here in the county or in the state. We need to make sure we embrace them. We need to continue our funding. That's where we're building our homegrowns. I'm a big believer in that. So Chief Heiser and I are going to run up, and we're going to go do this presentation at one of the hearings, and then hopefully we can get some money back here into Cochise County. And I know we brought money here thanks to Senator Gowan and Representative Diaz and Griffin, thanks to their efforts to bring money to Cochise College and our police academy down here. But we need to continue that, and we need some constant funding on that. So we'll be up there with Dr. Perry to do that.
And you also, right after that event, same in Phoenix, going to have a press conference about drones and the security and safety that we have to have for them, and in particular in relation to Cochise County along the border.
Well, you look at the Super Bowl, just went by, where drones can be shot down. They can be disabled and shot down, and they got the nets, super nets, guns, and all these things you can do. Well, you're hearing the stories on the border where they're bringing explosives with drones across the border. You see them bring drugs across the border, on and on. And so we want to make sure that law enforcement has the ability to do the same. I mean, we're working an international border. We're vulnerable. So we got to be proactive with that. So I will be, along with Chief Heiser again, the same day, we're going to be doing a press conference with the Attorney General and other law enforcement to ensure that law enforcement has the capability to address drones when they're coming over us for the wrong reasons. So that'll be on Monday, too.
And if they're delivering your pizza, it's not a thing.
Yeah,
but
don't shoot down the Domino's drone, people.
That's right.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, I understand that you have 2 stops of the week this week.
Yeah, I mean, the best part of law enforcement, and I know Commander Bronson is going to be on too, and he would attest to this. He's sitting in the studio with us right now as I steam up the mic for him. But is people. People come in all forms, and I love people. This is not at all to laugh at somebody, but it's what makes this job great. So, long story short is, the first stop, I was going to work there in the morning. I went in really early because I had to get a bunch of stuff, and it was still dark, like 6 after 6, between 6:30, whatever it was. And you all know, I was coming in this morning at 6:30, and it's like, man, it's still dark out here. Well, coming into Palominas, in front of Palominas School, and I see this vehicle go by. I'm like, whoof. And I'm like, had no headlights on. So I'm like, so I spin on it. And to me, when you see a vehicle with no headlights in the time of morning, is it a smuggler? What is it, based on our history here? So I get the vehicle stopped, had a tonneau cover, and I walked up, and very, very nice lady driving the car. And she goes, why are you stopping me? Was I speeding? I said, no. I said, can I see your license? She gives it to me. And I said, ma'am, do you think it's dark out here? And she goes, yeah, and I had this eye issue, and it's really dark this morning. I just can't see. And I said, ma'am, I don't, let me just be this is what we're all about, safety, but you have no headlights. You're driving with no headlights. That's why it's so dark out here. and I said, ma'am, yeah, I got to be really careful. And she had 2 kiddos in the back seat, and I could hear them talking back there. And I said, yeah, turn those headlights on for your kids. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But she's driving a dark truck, and I'm seeing so many people running around in the morning. I've stopped a couple. She was just the example. That was funny. But turn your headlights on. Sun up, the sun down. You got to have headlights on. So if the sun's not up, you got to estimate, and be reasonable with that. Law's built on reasonability. But yeah, turn your headlights on. And the other one, I want to remind people, we got a hands-free law here. You can't navigate a cell phone and drive a car. So, car comes off the highway, and I'm waiting to turn onto the highway, and this female driver with a cell phone right planted talking. In fact, she had it right in front of her. She turns, and that phone was more important than any of the drivers. She got really close to my front bumper. I'm like, really? So I turned around, turned the lights on, and stopped her. I walked up. She rolled the window down, and she motioned to me like, hang on, I'm still on the phone. Now, I had one of the lieutenants with me, and so we were waiting there and stuff. She had phone. She goes, can I help you? Ma'am, yeah, you can. So we had a discussion about hands-free phones, and she goes, oh, that's why you're stopping me. I said, yeah, but I've never had somebody, they usually try to hide the phone from me, but they never said, hold on, I'm on the phone, all right? And the body language is beautiful on that stop. So please, folks, put your phone down. It's hands-free law, which means you can't navigate a phone. It's got to be hands-free and only. So let's keep our highways safe.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us
Thanks,
today.
everyone. Have a safe week, and thanks, Carol. Thanks, Grady.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Commander Sean Bronson from Sierra Vista Police Department.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you so much for being here, Commander Sean Bronson, Sierra Vista.
Yeah, good morning.
So tell us a little bit about who you are.
I'm Commander Sean Brownson. I work for Sierra Vista Police Department. Been there over 25 years. Currently assigned to the police division, meaning that I oversee all of the sworn officers on the detective side and the patrol side, specialty units. Sierra Vista PD is divided amongst admin and then the police side. And then so my counterpart, Commander Liz Chatham's on the admin side. So I'm dealing with all the sworn officers, all the police issues.
And so what you're working on now is an initiative for youth violence.
Yes, so there's a large statewide initiative. We had the first summit in the fall, representatives all over the state from probation, the judges, law enforcement, juvenile probation officers all got together as a giant team to brainstorm issues in youth violence, extreme youth violence particularly. Things that result from drug dealing operations, drive-by shootings and murders and things of that nature. And it goes all the way down to some of the smaller violent issues and root causes. And that's, we have a local committee here in Cochise County that is working as part of the bigger initiative. So that's kind of what I'm here to talk a little bit about.
So what are you seeing in Sierra Vista right now?
So really, we don't have quite the extreme dangerous violence that the larger areas have, such as Phoenix or the Valley up there, or even in Tucson. But we do have some smaller youth violence issues, and we're focused mainly on school safety, bullying issues, things that lead back to root causes that we can keep the violence very low as we have it here right now in Cochise County, because we've been so successful as a team, as a justice system, as law enforcement, as juvenile probation. We're all pretty tight here. We communicate pretty well. But the local team, the local committee, if you will, is comprised of Judge Bannon, as you all know, me from the Service PD. We have a local principal from one of our middle schools, and then JPO representatives all working together to brainstorm ideas and come up with new thoughts on keeping things how they are, and then helping some of the issues inside the schools. So, and some of those things I'll talk about. Service PD in particular works on what we call an Adopt a School program. We kind of informally organize our officers in the mornings to go by all of the Sierra Vista schools, the elementary schools, the middle schools, even the charter schools, stop in, look for traffic issues, but just talk to parents, talk to school staff, talk to the kids. We always want to talk to the kids early to understand that, hey, we're the police, we're here for you, we're friendly, what kind of problems are you experiencing, shoot some hoops, play some pickleball, do whatever it is. And part of the big state initiative that a lot of people are becoming aware of with the school safety program, or our grant funding for officers to come on their days off and work in the schools all day, that's ongoing now. And so you'll see Cochise County Sheriff deputies, even DPS troopers, Sierra Vista PD, all the local cops in all the county schools and the city schools in the county are now working there as extra security. So that's pretty new, but that's going now, and that's going to be a huge addition to the program, or the movement, if you will.
So what are the next steps for this initiative?
So locally with Sierra Vista PD right now, we're kind of producing some videos. Some of our detectives give what we call teen talks that we've been doing for a little while now. It was something we started at Sierra Vista PD. And detectives from the drug world, working narcotics, have put on teen talks, and we're starting to record some of those teen talks. We just started doing this because we want to be able to utilize this in the JPO system when parents and juveniles who have gotten themselves into some trouble for violence or other crimes can be directed to watch some of these teen talks that are recorded with some production value. A lot of the times when we've hosted these teen talks for parents and for kids, it's like some of the kids that you would like to be there aren't the ones showing up. You know, it's the parents and the kids who are concerned about all the topics and the root causes of the violence and crimes that juveniles get involved in. And so now we want to push that toward the kids that need it after their cases become adjudicated in the system. Judge Bannon could maybe send a kid and a parent to see one of these videos that we produce. And some of the topics would be like the dangers of the internet, dangers of cell phone usage, sexting, drug use, of course, the dangers of weapons and guns that kind of goes along with drugs, and cyberbullying, vaping, all the issues that we know are going on in some of our schools. Vaping's a big deal right now, of course, all the way down to the middle schools. And also some of the bullying and the fighting we've been experiencing in some of our schools. That's more like some of the problems we've had locally is just fist fighting and things in schools, around school, outside of school. Not so much drive-by shootings and things that are and major drug dealing operations that are being perpetrated by young juveniles, teens in the bigger cities. But the issues we have are more the smaller things. So those are some of the topics that we tend to plan to record and produce on these teen talks.
And then we'll, of course, put those out to help you guys with that as well if you need. So that's awesome, because that's what's great about working with different law enforcement is we're here to help you too.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today and catching us up on Judge Bannon's initiative.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Tammy Jo Wilkins, the awesomeness of her, and she'll be talking about the vigilantes.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you so much, Tammy Jo, for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about this hat we're going to be talking about.
Well, I am the newly elected chief of the Tombstone Vigilantes. I am the second female chief in 77 years. And today we're going to talk about Vigilante Days, which is our anniversary celebration that is going to occur on the streets of Tombstone both Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
So congratulations, first of all, on your election. Very exciting. Again, you just mentioned shoes to fill, but I think that you have awesome shoes anyway. So
thanks.
there you go. So tell us what is Vigilante Days and what can you expect?
Vigilante Days is the celebration of the vigilantes, and it's been done on the streets of Tombstone since around 1948. Every year we actually do reenactments in the street all day long. This year we're going 10 to 4, both Saturday and Sunday, and we have a couple other gunfight groups that are coming to perform with us. And the Tombstone Vigilettes will be doing their fashion show, and then we have the Wild West Witches performing on Sunday. It's just a way for us to give back to the community and to bring people to town to celebrate with us. This weekend's actually going to be kind of unique because Amy Bruni is actually coming to town. She should be here today, and she's doing her paranormal show all weekend in Tombstone. And Tombstone is going to be the vigilantes around noon on Sunday is going to be a part of that.
How cool is that? So she's going to have you guys as extras, and do people have the opportunity to see that live as it's happening, or is that going to be an after dark, turn out the lights thing?
So most of her stuff is going to be after dark, turn out the lights thing, but everybody who's coming to support her, including her, is supposed to be on the streets on Sunday with the Tombstone Vigilantes, watching us perform, having photo ops, and all that other good stuff.
So let's talk about the Vigilantes a little bit. Is this a club, a group, is it a nonprofit? What are they?
Yes, they are a nonprofit, 501c3, and basically when we perform on the streets of Tombstone, it's usually the second and fourth Sundays of every month, and then of course event weekends. You can see us out there as well. Any donations that the Tombstone Vigilantes receive goes back 100% to the community. So we've been known to sponsor the fireworks show, provide donations to the small animal shelter, provide donations for Santa in the Park, and Stuff the Stagecoach, which is a really popular event for Tombstone in December, and just to name a few things. And we have a group of very dedicated volunteers. We're over 95, I believe now, volunteers, and everybody who participates actually provides their own investment into participation. They purchase their own costuming, and of course some of them travel from as far as Wickenburg to be able to play with us on the street.
So what is your favorite part of Vigilante Days? Like, what's the highlight?
I like to, well, I got 2 new dresses this weekend, so I like to dress up. I like to be a different character every weekend. Last weekend I was a character, I called it Tilly the Kid instead of Billy the Kid, and I was trying to be as obnoxious as I possibly could in everything I participated with. But this weekend I've got a Towns Lady dress, which I'll wear tomorrow, and a Madam dress, which I'll wear on Sunday. I'm super excited about them.
Sounds great. All right, we'll invite everybody out to Vigilante Day one more time.
Everybody come on out and join us Saturday and Sunday on the streets of Tombstone between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And if you want to know anything more about what's going on in Tombstone, check out the Tombstone Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, as well as Discover Tombstone Facebook page.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So reach out, give us a call, 520-432-9500, or take a look at our webpage, cochise.az.gov/sheriff, or hit us up on social media. You can reach out for our Facebook at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. That'll take you to our X account and our Instagram.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. Keep up to date. Follow the Cochise County Sheriff's Office on Facebook, and tune in next Friday, 7 a.m. for First Watch right here on KWCD.